P.I.M.P. by 50 Cent. A listener suggested it.
Oh, cool.
And on the surface, it's a catchy hip-hop song.
Right.
But I have a feeling there's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
Yeah.
This song, like, it went way beyond just being a catchy tune.
Yeah.
It was like a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Topped the charts, sparked debates, even like legal challenges years after it was released.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, there's definitely some depth here.
So let's start with the lyrics. 50 Cent repeats over and over, "I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get $1 out of me."
Right.
And it's almost like he's denying the very lifestyle the song is about. And then there's this focus on wealth and the way he talks about women.
Yeah, it's an interesting tension, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he's boasting about this pimp persona, but also kind of pushing back against it at the same time.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if it's all like an act.
Right.
Like a carefully constructed image.
Yeah, and then he drops all these luxury brands, Gucci, Fendi, Prada. It's like he's reading straight out of a fashion magazine.
Yeah.
It feels very deliberate, almost like he's trying to paint this very specific picture of wealth and success.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about showing off the brands, it's about power.
Yeah.
Like, those brands equal status, control.
Which is interesting because, like you said, he kind of pushes back against that image, too. It's like he's playing with us, making us question how much of it is real.
Right, and that's where I think it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
It forces you to think about image versus reality, especially in a culture that often equates wealth with power.
Yeah. Definitely making me think differently about the lyrics now. It's not just about this flashy lifestyle, but the complexities within that lifestyle.
Right, and that complexity extends to the music itself.
Right.
You've got this driving hip-hop beat, but then there's this totally unexpected element, the steel pan melody.
Yeah, it's so catchy, but it's not something you usually hear in a hip-hop song. Gives it a unique flavor, almost a Caribbean vibe.
Right. The music itself is this fusion of different styles, rap, reggae, Caribbean sounds.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that made P.I.M.P. appeal to such a wide audience.
So it's not just the lyrics that are layered, but the music itself is blending these genres, creating something new.
Absolutely. And that unexpected use of the steel pan adds a whole other dimension to it. It's like he's taking familiar elements, twisting them, creates something fresh, memorable.
I never thought about it that way. But yeah, that makes sense. The music is as complex and contradictory as the lyrics.
Right. Now let's talk about the music video.
Okay.
There are actually two versions.
Yeah.
The original, which is pretty explicit, and there's a clean version.
Yeah.
But both versions tell a story. You've got 50 Cent auditioning to join this P.I.M.P. Legion of Doom. It's led by Snoop Dogg.
It's like something out of a comic book. 50 Cent trying to prove he's worthy to be in this elite group of pimps.
And, of course, he wins them over with his magic stick, which is a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But the point is, the video, especially the original, reinforces those themes of power and control through those images, the narrative.
And it's so popular. As of June 2024, it had over 665 million views on YouTube.
Wow. Which raises a big question.
Yeah.
Does a video like this contribute to, like, normalizing or even glorifying the lifestyle it portrays?
Yeah, that's a tough question. It's definitely pushing the boundaries and making us confront uncomfortable ideas about power, gender, and exploitation.
Exactly. It challenges us to think critically about the images we're consuming and the messages they might be sending, even if it's unintentional.
Yeah, it's like the song and the video are making us confront our own assumptions and biases, which honestly, I think that's a good thing.
Right.
Makes you rethink things.
Now, remember that steel pan melody? There's a cool story about a cover version that tricked some people into thinking it was the original.
Oh.
Yeah. In 2008, the Bacau Rhythm and Steel Band released a cover of P.I.M.P. that was so faithful to the original, people thought they were the ones 50 Cent had sampled.
Wow, seriously, that's wild.
It is. And that cover ended up in a 2023 French film called Anatomy of a Fall.
Oh, wow. Talk about unexpected cross-cultural reach.
Right.
So we've got this song that's blending musical genres, crossing borders, influencing film.
It really speaks to the lasting impact, how it infiltrated different parts of our culture.
Yeah.
But the story takes another unexpected turn. Remember how we talked about image versus reality? Well, in 2016, this legal battle erupted that blurred those lines.
Oh, yeah, the lawsuit.
Yeah.
This is where things get really interesting.
Right. Out of the blue, this producer named Brandon Parrott and his business manager, they sued 50 Cent, Aftermath Records, basically everyone involved with Get Rich or Die Trying.
Wow.
And their claim was that Parrott was tricked into licensing a beat from his own track, Bamba, for P.I.M.P.
So 50 Cent's whole image of this self-made hustler gets challenged by this legal battle over who actually created the music.
It's a fascinating twist, right? And it brings up important questions about ownership and intellectual property in the music industry, especially with sampling. Like even in the digital age, the rules around who owns what can be messy. Sometimes even big artists make mistakes that land them in court.
It's crazy how a track from 2003 could still be causing legal headaches in 2016.
And that's exactly why this case is so important. It highlights how tricky sampling can be, even for megastars like 50 Cent.
Mhm.
It's a good reminder why understanding that legal side of music creation is crucial.
I'm already seeing P.I.M.P. in a whole new light. It's not just a song, it's a whole story filled with contradictions, cultural impact, legal drama. So we've uncovered so many layers here, meaning in the lyrics, the unexpected musical style, the legal battle. But P.I.M.P. didn't just stay in the music world, it was like a cultural phenomenon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. P.I.M.P., like it went beyond the charts, right? Like it seeped into our language. Like the song's title kind of took on a life of its own, became shorthand for a lifestyle, an attitude.
It's like how people started using P.I.M.P. as a verb, sometimes even a compliment, totally detached from the song's original meaning.
Exactly. It's fascinating how language evolves, right? And how a song can be part of that, even if it's unintentional. You've probably heard people say P.I.M.P., but think about it. Has its meaning changed over time? Does it have that same weight, that controversy that it had back in 2003?
That's a great point. It makes you realize how music can shape the way we think, the way we talk. P.I.M.P. sparked conversations about race, gender, and power, but it also got people thinking about language itself, how it changes.
And speaking of those conversations, it's worth going back to how the song talks about women.
Yeah.
Like P.I.M.P. gives us this look into a subculture, but it also reflects like bigger societal norms, attitudes towards women.
Especially in hip hop. Yeah, we touched on this earlier, but it's a big deal. The lyrics objectify women, right? Presenting them as possessions, which is problematic.
It's complex. Does a song like P.I.M.P. add to those harmful stereotypes? Or is it just a reflection of a reality that exists, even if it's uncomfortable?
Those are tough questions. And it's not just about P.I.M.P., it's about how women are portrayed in all music, in media in general.
Exactly. P.I.M.P. is like this catalyst. It makes us examine these issues in a broader context, makes us think critically about the messages we're taking in and the values they're pushing.
It's a reminder that even a song about a controversial lifestyle can bring up important conversations about these social dynamics and representation.
And you know, despite all this controversy, P.I.M.P. still resonates with people. It's been over 20 years, and people are still listening to it, talking about it, even dancing to it.
What do you think keeps people coming back after all this time? The beat, nostalgia, or something more?
It's probably a mix of things. The music is undeniably catchy, that steel pan, the beat. But yeah, there's definitely nostalgia there too. For a lot of people, the song takes them back, reminds them of a certain time in their life.
And let's be real, some people are drawn to the controversy, right? It pushes boundaries, creates debate. That can be interesting.
True, P.I.M.P. doesn't shy away from challenging those norms,
Yeah.
and that can be appealing but also unsettling.
Yeah, it's like we're drawn to its complexity, the contradictions, the bravado, even those hints of vulnerability.
You said it perfectly. Like on the surface, it's all bravado,
Wow.
but there's these deeper things there. A sense of vulnerability that people connect with, even if they haven't lived that life. It's like a peek into a world most of us don't know.
And that glimpse can be both fascinating and make you think. It makes us confront those assumptions we have, our biases, and consider how multifaceted life can be.
Exactly. It reminds us that even a song about a controversial lifestyle can have insights into those universal things. Ambition, desire, the struggle for power.
So it's not just about that pimp lifestyle, but these deeper desires we all have.
Right. And it highlights how music can break those boundaries,
Mm.
connect with people on a deeper level, even when it's about something challenging, something provocative.
I love how this deep dive has shown us so much more than just the song itself. We've got layers of meaning, cultural impact, legal stuff.
It's a reminder that music is more than just entertainment. It reflects us, our culture, our struggles. P.I.M.P. is a perfect example of that.
Absolutely. A song that makes you think, makes you question, makes you feel something.
Yeah,
And isn't that what great art is all about?
exactly. P.I.M.P. has left its mark, and it's still unfolding as we figure out its complexity, what it all means.
Before we wrap up, we wanted to share some thoughts we got from our listeners about P.I.M.P. It's clear the song has gotten a lot of different reactions, a lot of interpretations. We asked for your thoughts on P.I.M.P., and wow, you guys really came through. It's clear this song has sparked a whole bunch of reactions and interpretations.
It's been so interesting to see how people connect with it in such different ways.
Hmm.
Some listeners talked about how their views have changed over time.
Yeah, one listener wrote in and said, I used to love this song back in the day, but now it makes me uncomfortable, especially how it portrays women.
It's such an important observation.
Right.
Like our understanding of art, it evolves as society changes. Something that seemed okay back then might feel different now.
It's like we should go back and look at things we liked years ago, see them with fresh eyes.
Absolutely. Someone else pointed out that the song is a product of its time. We got to understand that context.
Yeah, context is key. When we look at what was going on when P.I.M.P came out, it helps us understand what it was trying to do, its impact, even its limits.
Right. It lets us analyze it, knowing the history, not just judging it by today's standards.
And we also heard from people who just loved the energy of the song. Like one person said, forget the controversy, this song just makes you want to move. It's a banger.
You can't deny that. It's got that driving beat, that steel pan, 50s delivery. It's catchy. It makes you want to move.
Sometimes a good beat is just a good beat, even if the lyrics are complicated.
Exactly. Music can be like that. It can make you think, but it can also just be fun.
Some of you also brought up the song's legacy. Like one listener asked, will P.I.M.P still be around in the future? Or will it just fade away?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's hard to say how long art will last, but P.I.M.P is definitely stuck around. It's still sampled, covered, people reference it all over music and media.
It's left its mark for sure. Whether it'll still be a big deal years from now, who knows?
But even if it fades from the mainstream, it'll always be there, like a snapshot of hip-hop of that time and all the conversations it started.
This deep dive has been a trip. We started with a catchy song, and we ended up talking about race, gender, power, the music business, even how language changes.
Right. It just shows you music's power. It reflects our culture, our values, our problems, sometimes without us even realizing it.
It reminds us to never underestimate a song, especially one like P.I.M.P. So layered and complex.
And as we wrap this up, we want to encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, keep digging into music and stories.
Because music is more than just sounds. It's a reflection of us, our world. That world's always changing. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into P.I.M.P.